Hey guys, it's Tiger with Pacific Rim Video at the Los Angeles Asian Pacific Film Festival. And today we have one of the awesome filmmakers who's, look at this, look how dapperly dressed he is. I feel underdressed now compared to this guy. So can you tell us a little bit about your film and who you are?
Absolutely. My name is Randall Okita, and I'm the writer-director of a film called The Lockpicker.
Okay, great. So The Lockpicker, can you tell us a little bit about the film, the process it was made?
Absolutely. It's a feature film about a teen thief that kind of gets pulled into a cycle of violence, and he's trying to figure out how to get out of it. We meet him at the in the aftermath of the death of a friend. He's lost a friend to suicide, and so he's kind of dealing with that, and then gets into a little bit of trouble. We made the film in Toronto, and we partnered with a high school there, so we embedded ourselves in an open working high school. Myself and some of the other producers have done a lot of mentorship and filmmaking programs, and so when we were setting out to sort of tell this teen story, and we really wanted to make it authentic and reflect sort of an authentic teen experience or a particular kind of one, we thought it made sense to sort of partner with a bunch of youth. And so we had a lot of high school students involved behind the camera, you know, getting mentored and involved on the crew side, and a lot of first-time performers in front of the camera. So our lead, for example, who did a great job, Keegan Tang, was a first-time performer, and you know, we took a lot of time to sort of involve them in the process and explain what was going on and why. And you know, we sort of wouldn't show them the whole script in advance. We'd sort of bring them on the journey of the characters, and it was a pretty incredible experience. Just kind of make a film that way, very non-traditional, I would call it. And I think it comes through in the film as well. That there's a lot of authenticity, I think, in the performances and in that sort of teenage angsty world that we create.
Some of us still live in. Well, and let me ask you, that's a very interesting concept to delay the gratification, especially with Instagram and everything going on these days, that you would, you know, delay parts of the script. Now, making this film, the lead seems to be Chinese. Is this correct?
Yeah, he's mixed, but yes.
How important, or maybe not important at all, was it to maybe have representation for the Asian teen experience? Did that come into play at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think authenticity was our sort of, you know, the beacon that we sort of chased the whole time. I think diversity was a big part of it. I mean, for me, I mean, I'm not the most experienced, but I've been doing this for a little bit, and so it's sort of baked into the process. We did have an open casting. You know, we're not specific about the roles, but you know, when it was a combination probably of a lot of things that we met Keegan, and sort of his spirit and his spark was pretty incredible. And then it just all sort of made sense from there, you know. And I think that for a lot of us, you know, we're always sort of dancing between this overt and covert sort of experience of race, but it's kind of just baked into sort of how we move through life. So, I mean, I would say it was an important and big factor in terms of the film.
And influences, because, you know, I think a lot of us have grown up, whether it was in the 80s, the 90s, whatnot, with John, you know, I was just about to say John Holmes. That's the porn star. That's not, but you know what I'm saying. You know, 16 Candles, all those films. Yes. Was that an influence when you're growing up? What was the influence on you for this type of teen coming of age story?
Absolutely. I mean, I was sort of, you know, I had a rough time as a teenager. This film is based, you know, on my experience as well as some people close to me. But you know, I was drawn definitely to the darker films, you know, the darker sort of coming of age stories that to me felt a little authentic, because they didn't always have, you know, complete 180 happy ending sort of turns, and you know, I remember seeing a lot of the grittier, grimier sort of films and made by sort of filmmakers that were sort of based in sort of communities that felt more authentic to me. So I think those guys were a big influence, as well as sort of psychological films, psychological portraits. You know, for us, we call this one a psychological portrait. We want to tell the story of a teen, not watching a teen over there fall through the cracks, but being, you know, seeing it through his eyes and feeling what it might feel like to sort of be in this dangerous situation where you're having some unlucky moments and you maybe don't have a safety net, you know, and to go from feeling sort of scared for that character to scared of that character.
And so we're going to put you on the spot here a little bit. Sure. Top 3 coming of age teen movies that you loved as a kid.
Ooh, it's tough. I'm going to say Black Rock. I'm going to say I'm gonna say Big. I don't know if that's a teen movie. Maybe he's a bit young, but I'm gonna say Kids.
Kids. So that's pretty dark. Yeah. I was a little disappointed that Weird Science wasn't on the list. Highly underrated, I feel, but
It is
man.
underrated. It's a classic. I mean, yeah, it's a classic.
So in your film, can we maybe expect some of a kid's vibe then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, depending on what you mean by vibe, but yeah, in terms of sort of kids as of teenagers as I experienced them, the kind of parties that I went to, and that feeling of like where the heck are the parents sometimes, for sure.
The ice cream socials that you went to, that's what I'm assuming, the box socials.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think for me, it was about sort of representing, some of those parties and some of those situations where, kids are experimenting with a lot of things, with sex, with drugs, things get violent. It's a particular kind of situation when you're trying to find yourself as a human being and what kind of person you want to be in the world when that's what's happening, and a lot of people get into a little bit of trouble. And some people get into more than others, but like I say, especially if you get a couple of unlucky events stacked, and in the film there's a couple of violent intersections where his friend is attacked at a party, and that's an experience that a lot of people can and have related to. But that in combination with maybe the loss of a friend and maybe your family's having some trouble, this can present sort of a dangerous situation, and it's not necessarily, for us it was about kind of showing it's not bad people only who do bad things. Sometimes good people get into difficult situations and bad choices are presented to them. And so it's sort of just having a bit of empathy for that kind of situation.
Well, I mean, I think that definitely has more of a real experience to, sometimes what you see in films, I really can't hardly wait. It was a great film, but I definitely did not see a lot of that in high school, being a nerd in my basement. So, on closing, so we got to do this, especially for the young kids out there, the hashtaggings, the Drakes, the kale, organic. Anyway, where can we find you? How can we support the film? Can we find you on social media?
Absolutely. My website is randallokita.com. That's probably the best place to go to see sort of what's happening next. The Lockpicker movie is also on Facebook and all of those places, so keep track of us there as well.
Awesome. Well, best of luck. Thank you so much.
I want a completely different life. Almost everything different.